Hello everyone, Claire from Yoga Tums here, and today's subject is all about back-to-back labours, okay? Sadly I was one of those people that ended up having a back-to-back labour, so I understand completely how it feels. And I'm just going to first of all give you a few facts about a back-to-back labour. Around about 15 to 32% of women in the UK will actually have a back-to-back labour or birth, okay? And this happens a lot more to ladies that are having their first baby. Around about 5 to 8 babies out of every 100 will actually stay in that position. And the position it's called is occipitolateral, okay? What that basically means is that the occiput, which is the back of the baby's head, which is this part here, is actually facing the mother's spine. So as you can see, it's nestled right into the pelvis there, with the back of the head into the spine. And it's actually possible to help your baby before labour actually happens. So there's a few little things, a few little tricks that you can do. And really more than anything, it's about making sure that you are fully optimizing all the positions that you're in to allow your baby to be in the best possible position it can be in. Okay, so I want you to imagine that your baby is lying in a hammock. So the tummy, so your belly here is the hammock. And if you imagine what it's like to lie in a hammock, it's not very comfortable to lie face down in a hammock. But in actual fact, we need to be making sure that baby's back is lying in that hammock. So things like when you're watching telly, getting on your birthing ball, okay? And when we're on the birthing ball, we are doing some nice big circles around your birthing ball, or perhaps doing some figures of 8, yeah? The main thing is that these occiput babies, they don't generally tend to tuck their heads in. So if you look at this, I mean, this is a perfect example, really. If you look at this doll, this baby, it's in like a military style sort of head position. So the chin's not really tucked in, the head's lifted. So that's losing space in the pelvis. So in actual fact, all that pressure is actually going right into the mother's spine, okay? So creating these really big circles is just opening the pelvis more and more, giving your baby chance to move, okay? And it's all about creating opportunities. So you tend to find with these back-to-back labours is that because of the way that the head's presenting and the way that the chin's not actually tucked in, it takes the cervix a lot longer to dilate, okay? So conserving energy, staying comfortable really is, although they are probably, I would say they're probably the most important thing really, is staying calm, staying comfortable and conserving energy. So opening out your pelvis, resting when you can, moving when you can, and we're going to create lots and lots of space for your baby. So hula hoops, so doing those little hula moves, so rotating the pelvis around. Another good little trick to do as well is inversions, okay? Inversions meaning things like downward facing dog, okay? Also bringing your feet up onto the sofa and dropping down. If you go to spinningbabies.com, is a really good little resource actually, because they tend to have a lot of information there, not just about back-to-back babies, but also transverse, where the baby's lying across the belly or in breech position. So there's lots of handy hints, handy sort of positions that you can get into. So check that out, it's definitely worth having a look. So when the labour starts, so there's a few signs that you might have even before labour starts that things aren't quite right. You might go to a midwife appointment and the midwife basically says, yeah, your baby's in this position, and they may try and manipulate the baby on a midwifery appointment. You will notice that when you are sitting there, you will notice that these feet will be coming out of your top hands. So instead of there being this hardness around your bump, you might find it's quite squishy, and also the belly button may have been sticking out before, but now it's kind of sunk back in again, leaving you to understand that potentially that's the baby head moving away from the belly and not pushing the belly button out anymore. So in terms of labour, you will know if you are having a back-to-back baby, and the reason I say that is the back pain is actually quite prominent. So when you're getting your surges, these surges are actually normally would happen in your down the front in your abdomen, and when you're having a back-to-back baby, you'll feel lots of pressure happening. And if you can imagine that, you know, bearing in mind that your baby has not got his or her chin tucked in, they've got the head quite neutral, all of that of the back of the neck, the head, all pressing in to the spine. So you will notice it, the pain will come into the back, and it's all about trying your level best to rest in between contractions as much as you possibly can. Now what I would recommend is that if you're having your contractions, lying on your left side for say 5 contractions, and then swapping over to the other side and having another 5 contractions, and if you can, bringing the knees wider open, so perhaps getting some pillows and putting those in between. Okay, so some little hints and tips then. First things first, coming into a rolling cat. So having your hands, so coming into a tabletop position. I'll see if the camera can pick this up. I mean, you've done this with me in classes. So you're kind of bringing your head back, scooping your head through, and then rolling the spine. And this little circling motion with the spine will help to turn baby. So once you're in labour, you can do this if it feels comfortable to do that. If you're going to use a TENS machine, absolutely brilliant. Get it on early. As soon as you know you are in labour, get that TENS machine on, because the way that a TENS machine works is it helps to build up that pain resistance over time. So if you're actually putting it on kind of, you know, at the point where things are getting really quite painful, then it's not going to have that time to work, and it's not going to be much use to you. So get it on early. Acupressure. There are apps out there, believe it or not, that will show you what kind of acupressure points you can use in order to turn baby. I will give you a link to that in the WhatsApp group. But yeah, there are certain pressure points within the body that actually help baby move. Here's a really, really good and important one, and that's firm counter pressure. All right, so bringing back our lovely baby again. So as you can see here, this here, we've got the base of the spine and the coccyx here. So the heel of the hand, your birthing partner putting the heel of the hand into here and just massaging all the way around, nice and gently moving the hand around. And you'd be surprised how much pressure a labouring woman can take in terms of that, and that counter pressure is heavenly. It really does help equalise the pressure that's happening from the other side. Also getting a tennis ball and just rolling that around, again putting that pressure in. Heat and cold packs, swear by these. So perhaps you could get a heat pad, or one of the packs that you can just tear off a strip and it works for 8 hours. Putting that on there helps just ease the pressure. So the cold side, I would say, you know, if you're going to use essential oils, they're a really good tool. So peppermint oil's fantastic. If you just put a little bit in a carrier oil and then just massage it all the way around this area, it will really, really help. Doesn't really matter, try what you can, yeah? And a double hip squeeze. So I'll take baby out here. So if you're lying on the floor in a way, in like a child's pose, say, or perhaps just leaning and draping over a ball, just at a place where your partner can get to you, and we're going to be squeezing the hips in and up, okay? So I don't know if I can see it on my hips. See if I can try and get myself a little bit higher. So the hips are here, so your partner bringing the thumbs in here and just squeezing. So bringing the thumbs in and up, and just alleviating that pressure just that little bit, okay? A lot of doulas tend to use this trick. There's a few YouTube videos on this, so have a look around and see what you can find. Being mobile as well. Yes, I know I said about conserving energy, but mobilising yourself. Your baby's not going to be able to turn if you're not providing opportunity for that to happen. So get yourself mobile. Keep going with the hula hips, just doing what you can. Using a birthing pool is a fantastic tool. The warmth of the water in itself is going to ease all that tension. And also it allows you to move through the water with ease. You know, you're not going to be stabilize in one position. You can move however you feel and you want to, and you can get those hips nice and wide and open. It really does release quite a lot of oxytocin, so it will help labour progress more. So it's definitely worth checking out. Water births are, honestly, the advantages of water births are amazing. We've been through that in our classes, so but yeah, do lots of research, and if you've got a chance to use a birthing pool and you're having a back-to-back labour, definitely use it. All four positions, I would say, in anything that's going to kind of create a head lower than the hips position, creating any kind of asymmetry in the pelvis can help the baby rotate just a few millimetres to descend into the best possible position. So things like your tabletop, your cat-cow, anything that's going to take the head lower. Walking like Charlie Chaplin, I know as ridiculous as that actually sounds. So having your feet out and just kind of doing a little waddle, keeping the pelvis open. And then if all else fails, ladies, then the epidural, okay? So the epidural is potentially going to be the best thing since sliced bread if nothing else has worked. And as I said before, you know, of course, the fact you're not going to be that mobile, but the fact that you can still go from one side, experiencing those contractions on one side, pillows in between the legs, and then swapping over for the next 5 contractions, just keeping moving like that. When I was labouring my baby and he was in the back-to-back position, and I had an epidural, that's exactly what the midwife did. You know, we were moving one side, moving the other, just try any opportunity to get baby to move. And that's about it, really. You know, it's difficult. It's a difficult wall to call, because you don't always know that your baby's in a back-to-back position. Now, somebody asked a question in the class, in one of the classes, about this back-to-back, and they actually said to me, at what kind of stage do you need to be doing all these kind of things? And it's a really, really good question. First time mums tend to engage a lot sooner. Well, say first time mums, babies tend to engage a lot sooner. So I would say start practicing these kind of things from around about 34 weeks. Your midwife, when you get towards the end of your pregnancy, will kind of be able to have a feel and know, but also yourself, as I said before, you'll know when you start seeing all these hands coming out and feet, you know that, you know, they are kicking out, they're kicking away from you, so it is usually a pretty good sign. Consequent babies, as in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, these babies will generally tend to get, they will generally tend to engage a lot later, so potentially they will engage perhaps even when labour's already begun. You know, that's when they will get into that engaged position once the waters have gone, say. So I would say you need to start practicing these a little bit later. Okay, so probably around about 37 weeks. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to comment and just ask any questions you need to, and I'll come back to you. All right, my darlings, I shall see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.